So good morning, everyone. Good morning, yeah. All right, I am David Raleigh, very proud superintendent of LaRue County Schools, and I would like to welcome you to Hodgenville Elementary School in the 2019 LaRue County Schools ExCEL Award Ceremony. It's an honor to be here today to celebrate public education and the success of one of our own, Miss Lacy Hatfield. I have visited Miss Hatfield's classroom and have observed firsthand the positive impact that she has on her students. We are very fortunate to have Miss Hatfield in our district. This award would not be possible without the continued support of WHAS 11 and LG&E-KU. The purpose of the Excellence in Classroom and Education Leadership Award is to recognize, reward, and renew the importance and contributions of the public school and teaching profession to the development and well-being to our young people and our community. The process for selecting the ExCEL Award winner is a very extensive and exhaustive one. Several people participated in the selection process of Ms. Hatfield as our 2019 ExCEL Award winner. There was an application review team, an interview team, and an observation team. All of our community member representatives that served on a screening committee are with us today. I'd like to recognize each of them individually. Ms. Penny Cecil, Mr. Dale Morris, and Ms. Dana Jolly. Also like to recognize some other folks that are in attendance. Ms. Hatfield is joined today by her husband, children, and lots of other family and friends. Also in attendance, we have several former ExCEL winners. Would like to recognize board members that are present. Our board chair over here, Mr. Price Smith, and Mr. Paul Cooper, who's in the audience. And one a honored guest that's here with us is Greg Burkott. He is the field representative for Senator Brett Guthrie. So please welcome everyone and thank you for being here. Can we give everyone a big old Hodgenville Elementary applause? Before we begin, I would also like to recognize Ms. Christina Boone for coordinating the entire ExCEL process and ceremony. Christina, where are you? Where's Ms. Boone? Ms. Boone, thank you. Would you guys please give her a big round of applause too? She worked very hard. And now to present the 2019 ExCEL Award, please welcome WHAS 11 anchor Lisa Hudson.
Thank you guys so much for being here today, and thank you so much for having us at WHAS 11. We are so honored to be here to honor Ms. Hatfield. I want to tell you a little bit about her. Of course, I could read off a number of accomplishments that she has made in her teaching career, but I'm sure a lot of you already know those. So I wanted to tell you a few things that maybe you didn't know. And so these comments come from some folks that know Ms. Hatfield best. This one coming from one of her former students. She said, "She was the first teacher to truly push me academically. She asked for stories instead of paragraphs in English and placed me with other high achievers in math. Her high expectations for my education set a precedent that I follow to this day. I strive to be the version of myself that Ms. Hatfield sees." That's pretty incredible. That's coming from Laurel. And this one is actually coming from one of her peers, Ms. Sarah Wright. She said, "The type of motivation seen in her classroom is not seen in all classrooms. Lacy has fostered that environment through her caring attitude towards students and her passion for teaching." This one coming from Mr. Eric Hughes. He said, "During observed lessons, I saw focused and clear delivery of objectives, use of intentional and appropriate student engagement, diagnosis of student misconceptions and recognition of student successes that promoted student self-esteem, positive relationships, and retention of content. I would leave Ms. Hatfield's classroom realizing I had observed a lesson that was successful not just because of a single day of quality instruction, but one that had a culture of learning rooted in high expectations and trust that had been established over time. She is a perfect example of the quote, "A great teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, and touches a heart." She also has a number of titles and hats that she wears, along with academic coach, ESS teacher, club leader, and of course just one of the many smiling adults who make HES such a great place. I loved that. Now, and some of the best things I saw, just kind of looking at Ms. Hatfield's accomplishment, were some words that she actually said herself, talking about the teaching profession and why she does what she does. She said, in 2004, I started my first teaching job as a sixth grade teacher. I soon realized that my job was much more than teaching content. I needed to teach self-confidence, self-worth, and self-accountability. Some of my greatest accomplishments in education happen each and every day when students enter the school smiling and leave the school day with a smile. Helping create and foster in students an excitement to learn proves to me that I am contributing to their growth and enthusiasm to learn something new each and every day. She said, in recent years, I started implementing the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is a really great book. I'm actually listening to it right now as well. Very good book. She said, I feel it is very important that students learn to accept people for who they are and to embrace their individuality. I knew going into teaching that my yearly income, I would never break 6 figures, and I was and still am okay with that. As a teacher, I have been seen as a comfort when a parent or guardian of a student passed away, and for a classmate who passed away from their battle with cancer. I've been able to celebrate births, high school and college graduations, returns from deployments, weddings, baptisms, birth of siblings, my own wedding and the birth of my own children, just to name a few. These are some of the ways that I get paid as a teacher. I know that I didn't become a teacher for the money. I feel that if a student feels loved and that someone believes in them, they will try their best to move mountains. All I ask my students to do each and every day, a simple 3-letter word that everyone can do, try. I just was so amazed and very impressed looking at Ms. Hatfield's career. What an incredible person she has been, not just as a teacher, but you can tell as a mentor and as a friend and as someone who is literally guiding young lives into adulthood. I think that's something that we forget that our teachers do. I know for myself, I still remember my favorite teachers from high school, my favorite teachers from elementary school, and I don't remember a lot of the lessons, but I do remember how they made me feel. And I remember how much confidence they gave me when I felt like I didn't have any. And that is exactly what Ms. Hatfield does for her students each and every day. And that is why she is a 2019 ExCEL Award winner.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Everyone is being so good and quiet this morning. My name is Liz Pratt, and I am so excited to be here today as part of the ceremony to recognize Mrs. Hatfield on behalf of all the employees at Kentucky Utilities and LG&E. And we are a power company, so we provide energy that helps our community. And teachers like Mrs. Hatfield prove the saying that teaching is not a profession, it's a passion. I also, like Lisa, had an opportunity to review all of Mrs. Hatfield's nomination letters and the award information, and it's clear she knew early on she wanted to be a teacher. As her nominator said, and as Lisa also mentioned, what they shared and expressed about Mrs. Hatfield is that she has a selfless love for others, and her passion for students does not stop in the classroom. That she doesn't seek gratification. She is a wonderful human being just because of who she is. And whether she's building up her students in the classroom, collaborating with coworkers here at school, volunteering at school, or with her family on the weekends and at nights, she is inspiring those around her, and that's why we're here today to celebrate Mrs. Hatfield. So from our perspective at KU and LG&E, we know areas like reading and math and science and everything that you're learning here at school are some of the things that we do today too. And so we also want to help inspire students because we know everyone sitting in here in this room today, all of you students who are here are going to be our community's future leaders. And teachers like Mrs. Hatfield are the ones who are helping you and empowering you along the way. So in closing, Mrs. Hatfield, we appreciate and we celebrate what you're doing here for your students, the impact you're making in our community, and your passion for teaching. So I have the honor of presenting you today, if you don't mind stepping forward, a check for $1,000 to be used here at school in your classroom. Congratulations. And now it's my honor to introduce Mr. Price Smith.
Thank you, Liz. Good morning, everyone. At this time, I am here representing LaRue County Judge Executive Tommy Turner, who was unable to attend today, but he asked that I read the following proclamation. So if you would, please listen attentively. To whom these presents shall come, greeting, know ye that Lacy Hatfield, being duly recognized for her outstanding contributions to public education in particular, and educating the youth of LaRue County, and being honored as LaRue County's recipient of the WHS 11 ExCEL Award, I hereby proclaim February 6, 2019 as Lacy Hatfield Day in LaRue County. Signed, Tommy Turner, LaRue County Judge Executive. So if you would, please come back. Now, I'd also like to make a presentation on behalf of the LaRue County Board of Education as our participation in the ExCEL Award. We are awarding Lacy Hatfield a check for $500 to use at school or for her classroom. So if you would. All right, now I'll reintroduce to you Mr. David Raleigh, Superintendent of LaRue County Schools.
Thanks, Price. As some of the students were coming in, they were asking me if I was the president. They said I was dressed like the president. Well, I'm not the president, I am the superintendent, but I do get to read a letter to Ms. Hatfield from Senator Paul Rand. He couldn't be with us here today, so I'm going to read this to Ms. Hatfield and present it to her. Dear Ms. Hatfield, congratulations on being recognized as LaRue County's ExCEL Teacher of the Year. Quite a distinction in a county already known for its tremendous teachers. While I regret that I am unable to attend the reception in your honor, I join with Superintendent Raleigh, your colleagues, students, and the community in thanking you for the unique gifts that you bring to your profession and the passion in which you use them. I hope that all students in the Commonwealth will be able to look back over their school days with great memories about a special teacher, or many of them, who stood out for their ability to inspire, teach, encourage, and truly connect. Clearly, you have been that powerful force in the lives of countless young people, and your achievements, which are celebrated today, will not only be an inspiration to your students, but to your colleagues as well. Best wishes for your continued professional success and for a bright future for Hodgenville Elementary students. Sincerely, Rand Paul. I'd like to present this to you, Ms. Hatfield. And now it is my honor to introduce to you a very special person in the school who I think quite a bit of, and that is your principal, Mr. Chris Price.
Good morning. First of all, I want to tell you I appreciate how attentive you've been so far during the assembly. That is very much appreciated. My name is Chris Price. As he said, I'm the principal here at Hodgenville Elementary School. In the 7 months that I have been the principal, I have come to truly appreciate the teacher and the person that is Miss Lacy Hatfield. Very few people will ever see how much she actually does behind the scenes for her kids without seeking praise or recognition. She strives to make a difference in the lives of her students. Today, I'm not going to talk about her accomplishments in the classroom or her K-Prep scores. Certainly, she is an amazing teacher that hits a home run on test scores. But I want you to get a good picture of who Lacy Hatfield is. I want to tell you about 4 examples that I'm aware of that will give you an appreciation of what Lacy Hatfield is all about. The first example was bus dismissal back in August. Miss Hatfield came out of the school yelling a student's name. The students stopped and turned around a little confused. Miss Hatfield said, "You didn't fist bump me." The student smiled really big, fist bumped her, and then went on to the bus. She wasn't going to let that student get on the bus and go home that day without knowing he was important. The second example was when I texted her on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving to talk to her a little bit about her story, her life story, where she came from, what she has experienced. She told me I would just need to wait a little because she and her family were driving to church to make fruit baskets. I had to laugh because that is Lacy Hatfield. She is an extraordinary teacher of mathematics, but she is so much more than that. She lives to help others. I found out about the third example around Christmas time. Her son started a Christmas gift fund for Sunrise Children's Foster Home 5 years ago. That year, he raised enough money to get Christmas gifts for 10 children. That number has increased dramatically. This year, he raised enough money to get 34 gifts for children. After raising the money, he, Miss Hatfield, and the rest of the family go and buy the gifts and deliver them to the children's home. What an impression she has made on her son to make a difference in the people around her with whatever resources you have. And the last example was just the other day when I stopped her outside of the office and talked to her about planning for today's ceremony. I asked her what she would like as far as student performances, speakers, and the whole show. She said, "I don't need any of it. I would be happy if there was no ceremony at all. I could just know that I won and let that be it." You see, she doesn't do it for the glory. She does it because she genuinely cares about others. I said this a few years ago, and I'm going to end with it today because it certainly applies to her. Lacy Hatfield is the kind of person we all love and appreciate and root for because Lacy Hatfield is the kind of person that loves and appreciates and roots for others, especially her students. At this time, our 4th grade choir is going to sing as Miss Kathy Milby directs them. And now I want to introduce Ms. Sarah Wright, second grade teacher and also co-academic time coach.
Good morning. By a show of hands, how many of you here today have ever had a teacher you will never forget? I know I have. Look around, there's so many hands around. Many of us are impacted by great teachers, ones we will never forget. And Lacy Hatfield is one of those teachers that I'm sure many students and I myself will always remember. I would like to take a few minutes to tell you why Mrs. Hatfield is an unforgettable teacher who is completely deserving of the ExCEL Teacher of the Year award. During my first year teaching, Mrs. Hatfield was my mentor, an expert teacher who helped me through difficult times and guided and supported me. She was an amazing mentor who led by example. When I would walk into Mrs. Hatfield's classroom, I would see students who are excited about learning and engaged with each other. Her classroom was always a place where students' creativities and thoughts were heard and appreciated. Mother Teresa has said that it's not about how much you do, but how much love you put into what you do that counts. And when talking and working with Mrs. Hatfield, it is clear that she is passionate about teaching and her students. Mrs. Hatfield can be seen greeting each of her students at the door every day with a fist bump. It is little things like this that have helped Miss Hatfield to build meaningful and lasting relationships with her students. She works hard to build a true relationship with each and every child that will last forever. The love she has for this community and her students is ever apparent. Mrs. Hatfield is a teacher who shows her passion for teaching in and out of the classroom. I once walked in and there were 5 small groups of students working. Each group was working on a completely different activity that was best suited for their success. At one group, Mrs. Hatfield was reteaching a lesson and those students were very engaged. And even though Miss Hatfield was not with the other students, they were working hard as a team to solve the problems they were given. Because Miss Hatfield planned activities where students could be successful in small groups, students were excited, involved in their own learning. They took ownership. It was clear that Miss Hatfield was dedicated to her students and their success. Outside of school hours, Miss Hatfield is the head academic coach here at Hodgenville Elementary. She balances teaching 4th grade mathematics with coaching 4th and 5th grade quick recall and test-taking areas. She has many students on her team, and she works hard to find an area where each student can experience success. Miss Hatfield truly wants all students she works with in and out of the classroom to feel they can be successful and accomplish great things. A former educator, Marva Collins, once said, "What all good teachers have in common, however, is that they set high standards for their students and do not settle for anything less." Miss Hatfield expects great things from her students, and she knows they are capable of doing outstanding things, not just in mathematics, but in life too. She is very observant of her students, and Miss Hatfield knows when they're struggling. She is not a teacher, though, who will swoop right in and give them the correct answer just so they feel good about themselves. She coaches them and helps them realize that they have the potential and helps them recognize that they are capable of achieving those high standards Miss Hatfield has set for them. Students are a great place to look when trying to understand how great a teacher is. Here at Hodgenville Elementary, students only have positive words to describe Miss Hatfield. Before wrapping up, I would like to share what some current and past students have said about Miss Hatfield. One student said that Miss Hatfield cares for me because she doesn't give up teaching us. This just shows that she is committed to her students and their success. Several students shared that Miss Hatfield takes the time to help them when they do not understand a concept. Miss Hatfield knows her students and takes time to help them when they don't know where they need to go, and she helps get them to that spot. One last student shared that Miss Hatfield doesn't just teach us. She helps us remember, and she involves us in what we are learning. Miss Hatfield is definitely not afraid to take the extra time to get students to participate in their own learning. Miss Hatfield is constantly going above and beyond for her students, and it certainly hasn't gone unnoticed by them. For the creativity she inspires, the love that abounds within her, her passion for teaching and learning, and her high expectations for students, it is clear why Mrs. Hatfield has won the Teacher of the Year award. I am so delighted that others have seen and recognized the amazing work she does every day. Congratulations to Miss Lacy Hatfield.
Wow, I think for the first time I might be speechless. So I wrote something down. I had written something down so I wouldn't forget what to say. And I'm sure I'm going to forget to say something, and I want to apologize. And I'm not going to make eye contact because I may start crying. I would like to take this time to thank everyone for this award. WHAS 11, LG&E, the LaRue County Board of Education, all the staff at the board office in the whole county, and the students, the parents, and most importantly, the best staff and students around is here at Hodgenville Elementary School. So thank you. What an honor it is to be standing here. I'm so blessed to come to work each and every day and work with amazing students, colleagues, and administrators. I'm so thankful that my calling in life was to become a teacher. LaRue County truly is the best, and I'm very humbled to be recognized. I want to say thank you to Miss Milby. She's pretty amazing. For the wonderful song and the picture show. A big thank you to the beautiful fourth graders. You all did a fantastic job, and you did make me cry a little bit. Miss Denise Skaggs, thank you for hiring me fresh out of college. Mr. Hughes for quickly replying to my email 5 years ago. And to Mr. Price for being very supportive this year. Thank you to my colleagues and my teammates. I value your support, your love, our educational conversations, but most importantly, I appreciate your friendship. I didn't know Ms. Thompson was going to be here, but Ms. Teresa Thompson, I want to thank you. You are the reason why I'm standing here today. You are my inspiration to become a teacher. Thank you. And thank you to my family. I know having a teacher in the family isn't easy, and schedules are tight, and it's hard to understand sometimes what I'm going through as a teacher, but you guys are hanging with me. So thank you very much. And in closing, I just want to say it's a great day to be a Hawk. Thank you.
Before we get out of here, I want to echo something that Mr. Price said a while ago. I want to applaud you, students. I want to give you a huge compliment. So I don't know if you collect compliments in your classroom for positive behavior type stuff, but as a group, you guys need a great big compliment because you have been so attentive, so respectful, so polite, wonderful audience members. Wonderful. Can you give yourselves a big round of applause for doing that? Awesome job, awesome job. I also want to, again, thank our audience members and guests, everyone for being here to come out and support Lacy. Last but not least, Lacy Hatfield represents what is right in LaRue County Schools. She represents what is right across the state of Kentucky and what is right with public education. And she represents that today, and we are so honored to just to recognize this and be able to share this with you. So thank you, Lacy.